Hello everyone, I'm Chris with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a video breakdown of a lead follow lap I did with a buddy of mine where the camera's on his bike and he's following me around the track. Now this particular day I wanted to take him out and sort of show him a few lines because I noticed some things were off with what he was doing. But in the video I found there's a lot of stuff that I was doing wrong as well. So in this video I'm going to kind of break down the stuff that I noticed about myself. Might touch on some of his, but in a later video, I think we're gonna have him come in and kind of talk about his thought processes he is riding and what he sees from the leading that I'm doing in this type of riding. Now, this isn't anything crazy fast. We're not dragging knees or elbows. This is sort of the fundamentals. And I'm gonna touch on a lot of different things that I did well or really did poorly or can improve upon, and sort of the mindset I go through in these track days, because to me, they're not just about wailing away and going as fast as possible and just going crazy with it. I kind of go out there with a purpose. I want to learn something. I want to improve some form of my riding. Now, that's not to say that isn't fun to me. It's just kind of my approach to these things. So let's get in this video. There's a lot to go through, and I think we'll learn something from it. Hope you do too. Let's go. So my buddy is on a 2022-2023 base Ducati V4, and I'm obviously on my Ducati V4R. 2023. So as you see, we're leaving the pits here. Now as we're rolling down the pits, they're telling me to check my helmet and make sure that it's strapped up, because some people go out there and don't really check their gear and they don't think about it. Now as we enter the track here, you'll notice there's a blend line, and it's a little yellow line, and I got on my buddy because the last time I followed him, he sort of crossed that blend line early, and that part of the track, as you'll see later, comes up and you're going pretty quick. Now we get on the straightaway and immediately you'll see me pull away from him. And it's not because the bike's just insanely fast. It's a point in which you actually roll on the throttle. You'll notice these two cones as we come up, and you'll see them on a lot of other turns as well. Those cones are supposed to be parallel to, because those are the apex points of that turn. So you'll see sometimes no apexes were harmed in the making of this video. Something I want to point out with this lap as well is the first lap out, so it's really a warm-up. So we're getting our bodies warmed up, we're getting the tires warmed up, getting our eyes and mind and everything sort of where they need to be. And these types of laps are really good for like feeling what your brakes feel like, sort of where your points are, where you want to set your eyes to when you want to have a braking spot, and kind of practicing a little bit more body position stuff. You'll see mine's not the greatest, and it's one of the biggest things I still need to work on, but this is that warm-up lap is really where you get that body to start doing what you want it to do for the next few laps. All right, taking it through turn one, through start finish, kind of stay into the curbing. You want to stay sort of in the middle of the track. You've noticed with the speed, if you stay tight, what happens is you'll end up tracking wide, and at the end you don't really want that. You'll also notice as you get past this curbing here that you want to sort of pick the bike up and go straight again and accelerate. And you'll notice in the video, like he closes up some and then you'll see that extension again. So what's happening is he's staying constant and I'm actually accelerating. And then as you come into turn two, right there, the curb, that's the apex. You got the cones going into turn two on the straightaway. Now as we go down the straightaway, you'll notice again that I'm just disappearing. The other point is when you're on track like this and you have a straightaway, especially one that has a very defined wall that's leading down it, the next turn is a right-hand turn. So because of that, you want to be as far to the left as possible while going down this straightaway. Because if you're in the middle of the track, when you're thinking about it, if you're in the middle, that means people that are faster than you are going to blow by you on either side, and you don't really want that because it can be unpredictable. And you can be unpredictable. You could veer one way or the other. You don't want that. And none of the other riders want that. So on a track like this where there's a nice right-hand turn coming from a straightaway, you want to stay as far to the left of the track you can. My buddy is kind of off that line. You can really see the difference. You'll notice what's crazy is, like, I don't remember what the top speed was, but he hit like 145. I don't know if I was at that or more. But as we come to the breaking points, you'll see the 500 board. I'm usually, if I'm actually riding harder, I usually use a 400 board as my breaking point, but also that's the part where I start to kind of tip in or veer into the next turn, turn 3. And I'm braking and then trailing off all the way through this corner and then accelerating again coming out of it. So as you break into 3 and go straight, and then I'm accelerating hard again right here, so it's turn 4. And notice how early he turned in. I try to turn in a little bit later, usually after the curbing, because that sets you up to accelerate again. Something you'll notice as well, track position, it's really, the track's big, like there's a lot of space, and you end up not using all of it, and that's because of the type of speed you're carrying. Turn 5 here is one of those tricky ones because it's your first left-hand turn. So if you're not warm yet, that turn actually people low side the most on because that side of your tire is actually cold. You're also supposed to be close to that turn. I do it a different way every time, but if you stay close and then cut in, it's the direction. 6, again, it's a point, accelerate, come downhill. It's a pretty steep downhill. And then we go into 7. And it's the most heavy braking because you're coming downhill and you've accelerated a little bit. So that's one of the heaviest braking zones in this track. And then you come up to 10, 11, which is the eyebrow, as we call it. And you'll see the curbing, there's 2 cones. Stay close to them and then go straight and track out as wide as you can. You'll notice, again, the track difference where he's at and I am. I still need to go out wider to come up tighter. This is called Wheelie Hill. As you come down it, you go into 12, I believe 13. And again, I'm a little off from that apex. You'll notice as well, my lower body's out, but my head still needs to go. And then the other thing that I had some issues with is my lower body, like my legs and everything weren't shifting and opening enough on the hips. So body positioning has been my Achilles heel. Probably most of you could relate. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're one of those people that get it right off the bat. As we come up to 16, this is one of those ones where you kind of track wide because these next 2 turns you can kind of hit them straight, and you'll notice as I'm pulling away from them, it's because my bike's more upright and I can accelerate. 17, that's one of those ones where you just kind of tuck in and just accelerate again. 18, you just roll off a little bit, and it helps if you change direction. And then the chicane here, 19, 20, 20, 21, you can see how he actually hit this really well. I didn't, but you see how I'm accelerating away and I'm using the curbing far on the right. When you set up far on the right there, coming up through the start-finish line, it allows you to have more of a straight shot with this next curbing, and it's honestly the most fun section because it just feels like it's so flowing, and then you're just kind of hauling up and around. And as you see, tracking deep into 2 and going in, or 1 into 2 and then the straightaway there. And as I just ramble through this whole thing, that is a lap at Indy. Well, there's a lot of information here, and the key points that I've noticed about myself is that body position is not nearly where it needed to be this time around. I wasn't moving far enough off. The head especially wasn't dropping nearly enough. Everything was just kind of tight and compact, and that's sort of how I felt that whole weekend. So if you're one of these people that go out and you're just either not feeling it or you're only feeling a certain level, stick to that. Don't go out there and go, okay, my buddy's hauling, so now I got to catch up. Dude that was following me, him and his son crossed the finish line. It was a checkered flag. We all went through and we're going on the straight, and there's some people going really slow, but I was cooling down faster than the other people. Well, they blew by me, and I'm like, oh no, and I go, wait, no, this is a checkered flag. Why am I going to try to play around and race them on a checkered flag? That's a recipe for disaster, and a lot of people, unfortunately, during this session and other sessions that weekend, crashed because of doing stupid things, like someone went through that start-finish on a wheelie, landed hard and went off track and then ended up hitting a cactus. So be smart. You know, it's a track day, there to have fun. For me, again, learning is fun, so I try to improve skills and look back at videos like this and try to dissect what I did well or what I did poorly. And if you take that approach, you usually don't have a bad time anyways. I hope you all enjoyed this video. It's definitely different and kind of putting myself out there. I know there's going to be some harsh critiques from you pros, at least ones that believe they're pros, and some of you actually are. But I'm welcome to all of them. You know, this is a community. I love hearing the feedback. You know, be constructive with it, lend some pointers or whatever, because what I say and then what you say and the way that we can build that knowledge base can help someone that maybe is on the fence of going to the track and might be scared, and they'll see like, okay, he's not dragging me and going crazy. That means I can probably go out there and have fun as well. And that's really what we want, is bring people to the track, because it's a blast. It's one of those places that you will never stop learning and you will always improve. And it's something that I have become addicted to. My buddy, now that he's gone a few more times, is addicted to as well. But yeah, leave your comments down below. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next video. Hope this does well, because I want to keep doing things like this, especially if it helps the community as a whole. All right, later.